What's going on, my brothers? Well, let me grind this axe just a little bit more. I'm gonna glue up the control horns for the ailerons now, and again, I'm still shocked that guys that have these planes and put these planes together at my local field don't know that these are different heights. These are different offsets. So figure out which ones are longer and which ones are shorter. Put the longer ones out by the tip, put the shorter ones in by the root. Avi, are you going to have a bunch of binding offset crap going on? So you can see here, these are marked. You got, put them out here to help a little bit more. The one on the left has 2 lines. The one on the right has 1 line. So you want to put the 2 liners together. I'm making this for like a 2-year-old. That's a lot of 2s. Let's call that a 3-year-old. Yeah, put your 2 lines together with your 2 lines and your 1 line together with your 1 line, for your control horn. And this is the longer one, the 2 lines, but you can always measure them. You need to measure them. You never need to go by these lines. Don't even worry about these lines. So these are longer than these. I put them side by side. These are shorter. So these longer ones, this pair goes together. That's one control horn. That be going out there on the tip. These shorter ones is the pair of shorter ones. Those go together, and that be going there on the root. Can't believe I have to explain that. But multiple guys, and then mistakes on planes right in front of me, getting glued up wrong. It's crazy. So, yeah. End of segment 1. What's happening, my brothers? Okay, I'm gonna grind this axe again because I still can't believe these knuckleheads at my local flying field. Several who fly these 2 aileron servo gassers. Didn't know that the wing is a different thickness, and from root to tip, and that the control horns are always a different length. So pair them up. The long ones go towards the tip, and the shorter ones go towards the root. These are even offset, so it's shorter and more offset than the longer ones. So, yeah, ding dongs, like that should be part of obvious. So, and then I just start right now. Chris has always said, well, it doesn't matter. I don't have a 104-inch plane. I don't have dual ailerons. Chris just assembled a 104-inch plane right now. So he hadn't even made it yet. He just finished the assembly. So that means this is coming into play for him. Now, he's heard me harp on this all this time, but Chris, you have better have got these things in the right places. I'm going to check your plane, and if you got them wrong, they're going to be hell to pay. All right, this is clearly shouldn't be necessary to discuss, should be really obvious. But yeah, I got 2 planes in my quiver now that these things had to be ground down and fixed. And at least 3 guys at the field that said, oh, those are all the same length. Those don't matter. So it doesn't seem like I should bring this up, but I'm bringing it up. And Chris, you better have got yours right. All right, out. We'll patch this on to another segment. Yo, okay. So I glued in all the control horns. Again, this is the tip, so this is the long one. The long set, that's the root. That's the short ones. That's the tip. That's the long ones. This is the root. That's the short ones. And I glued them in with Zap 30-minute Z-epoxy. You can use any Zap, and it will be 100% bulletproof. You can use the 15 or the 5. The 5s, a lot of times dries so quick that, if you just did one at a time, you barely have time to clean up before it hardens up. Plenty strong enough, but you won't be able to do all 4 at once. With 30-minute, I was able to do all 4 and clean up with ease, not any stress at all. What else can I tell you on this? You can use any old connectors you want. You can use the, what am I trying to think of? The multiplex, so you can do 2 ailerons in one connector. Dean's actually makes these so you can put, you can solder up, and use one connector. They make a 6-pin, even I think an 8-pin in these micros. But I just really like these, one connector on each extension, a 4-pin connector to micro Deans using 3 of the pins. Solders up real quick. And I just feel so much better when I put it together than when I put any of these other connectors together. I just feel like, yeah, that ain't going nowhere. The throughput, and then, how stuck they are. Not that I'm trying to start a revolution, of everybody soldering on Deans all the time. I just kind of state, and, I've just been noticing, I always liked them, but I've noticed lately I really don't feel near as confident with the alternatives. I'm always really happy to grab my micro Deans and stick them together. Feel real good about it. So, as with almost all the planes now, there's strings run through the wings, so you just grab a string and easily fish the extensions through, so you don't have to go old school and drop a nut on a string down, which takes like 2 seconds, or some other method. And then I'll probably show it later, but then what I like to do is when the extension comes through, the fuse there, when you're doing fast maneuvers, the extensions like to get yanked down with centrifugal force down to the tip of the aileron. So I like to stick these down. I'll use Velcro, sticky Velcro. Yeah, there it is up there. And I'll take the extension just as it's inside the plane there, and I'll stick it down to that wood with sticky Velcro, and then that way it never gets yanked in. It's a little something I do, so I'll do that with both of those. As you can see, I went with the servo output gear being furthest away, which gives me less acute angles, which I prefer, throughout the range of travel. So I couldn't use the stock push rods for that. I had to have ones that were 1/2 inch to 5/8 longer. So I used some of my T-Works, the 64s, but I think they make 68s. I think the 68s, definitely usable. And but these 64 is pretty good too. That's only about 1/8 of an inch of thread throwing, so feel pretty solid. But yeah, the 68s would work if they had those. I think I had a bunch of 68s and used them all when I did a bunch of planes last year this exact same way. And their geometry is pretty good, and I don't have to do anything about the hard point or slotting wider for the control horns or any of that. But as you can see here, I would prefer, in a perfect world, where's my finger, that this control horn be right here. So maybe 1/2 an inch over would give me a little more angle when the aileron's even, and when the aileron's fully pushed, it'll give me more straight angle instead of a angle this way, which I don't like as much. But Skywing's pretty darn close. I just kind of leave them. It's not too bad. And the last thing is none of this stuff is drilled anymore for the servos. So maybe they never were with Skywings, and I forgot. I built enough of them. You think I would know? But I seem to remember they're always being in these. So Extreme Flight must have always done it and must still do it. And Skywing either did it and stopped, or they just never did it. But yeah, all 2 seconds to drill them, except for where I showed the other day in the horizontal stabs for the elevators. Yeah, it'd be nice if they pre-drilled those. But yeah, once you get the right tool for that, then you always have the tool. And you can always do it quick and easy. So these are all glued up. Push rods are all put together. Deans are all soldered on all the extensions. So this will go together late this afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. So the wings will be done. Whole tail's done and working. Engine's mounted. So then Thursday evening, I will get on the throttle linkage, mufflers, cutting the cowl. Might not get too much further than that. And then probably Friday to do the tank. Well, I'll probably get the tank and plumbing in there on that too on Thursday night. But yeah, to finish up inside with, all the wire securing and IBEC and receiver securing switch and all that kind of stuff. What did I just say? Friday on that. So yeah, maybe Saturday. And I'm not in any hurry. One, I got a million planes, but then two is I don't know when the red flag alert is going to be removed so that we can go back to flying. We got to, as you guys all know, all around the country and all around the world, get very sad and serious situation about an hour away in Los Angeles, where tons and tons of homes, residences, and some historical buildings too have gone up in flames, and people struggling to get their belongings and pets and dogs, and even some people have died, and everybody's looking now for places to stay, places to even to rent. It's really hard to get a rental, and most of those houses were large, and even just having a house. I mean, there's very small apartments everywhere, but it's really hard to find a large apartment or find a house, and these people had pets, and they're all looking for that stuff. But it was pretty heartwarming, that there's been so many volunteers and so many clothes and water and food donated, and people helping out. Trying to get involved in a little bit of that myself. But yeah, so point being, how long the field is shut down is not a concern in compared to what these people are going through. But might work out that by the time I get this thing done Saturday, or Friday night or Saturday night or something, that the red flag alert might be lifted and get the maiden in. That'll happen pretty quick. Chris will probably beat me to it. Chris, what did he get? Oh yeah. He got a 104. It's his first 104. We knew that. And I guess it's his first GP 123. Yeah. He got it direct from Joe Lewis, the U.S. distributor. And he got a 104-inch Extreme Flight extra NG in the blue and white scheme. So the same one I had in the 114 size, which I really did love, but I just have gotten away from all the 170cc's. I only have 3 left. I think I sold 1, so 2 left. And I think I sold this Airwork, so 1 left, just pinky. So I just want these third scales, just like everybody else. Like, this is the size. And But I love that plane. I have never flown the Extreme Flight 104-inch extra NG, but I'll get to fly his. And I noticed that these planes don't scale the same, so we'll see how it compares between those two sizes. He had a few months ago, was it 91 with a GP76 twin on it. And it did not fly at all like my 114. It scaled quite different. The wings were much larger per the size of the fuselage, and it flew much more stable, I guess you could call it. Less aggressive than the 114. So be interesting to see how the 104 is with that. And I guess that'll be a direct comparison to this. This is the Skywing 104 extra NG. So we'll get to check that out. And he's pretty done, so as long as that red flag gets removed in the next 3 or 4 days, he's probably going to beat me to the maiden. And maybe we get some video of that. We'll try to and post that and try to harass him. Get some video of the harassment. All right, out.